Peace and love, everyone, and welcome to the first episode of Sunnah and Soul Converted Stories. Today we have Bilal Ali with us today, and we want to share his story about his journey into Islam. This is a special friend. We took our Shahada 1 month apart from each other, and it's been a journey for both of us. And it's amazing how us becoming mutual friends, it's because of him. And I tell this story all the time. If you follow me for some time, it's because of him learning was the reason that I even took interest. I was dating his friend who's now my husband, and they were giving him what we call dawah. Dawah is any time that you show an example or start teaching teachings of Islam, and he was learning at the time. So because that was the ongoing conversation, is what piqued my interest, and I soon after followed. So I don't know if Billy wasn't. I'm sorry, I keep saying Billy because when I met him, he was Billy, but now he's officially Bilal. He's Bilal Jamil Ali, mashallah.
Mashallah.
And if it wasn't for him being in that process, I don't know if I would have gotten that direct influence. And I've seen this brother grow so much over the last decade, more than a decade. It's about to be like, how many years since you took your Shahada?
Like 12.
Longer
13,
than that.
2000,
It's longer than that.
2010.
At least 14 years. At least 14 years.
Yeah, because
Amir's 13.
Yeah, so 14.
Yeah, mashallah.
Wow.
So 14 years
Almost
since you
half.
took your Shahada.
Now almost half my life, I guess.
That's crazy. And at the time, it feels like the days are probably going by slow. So I'm going to stop talking now, and we're going to get into some questions. So if you guys have some questions in the comments, people that are watching, if you have any questions as far as what it's like to become a new Muslim, maybe some of the challenges that maybe Bilal has faced. But I kind of want to get your side of the story and how you even became interested in the first place, because I kind of came in the picture once you were kind of already on your journey. But what led you to even start looking in the light of Islam?
Well, what started it was I moved to Atlanta for a brief period, and I was driving downtown, and I seen a whole bunch of men with beards and what I thought was a dress, and I was like, man, what are all these fruitcakes walking around for? But see, because I didn't know, so I researched that, and I found out it was Islam, but I'm still in Atlanta. I really didn't know anybody who was Muslim in Atlanta. And so I moved back to Auburn, and my brother Ahmed, I was working at a restaurant, and I asked him, can you show me what Islam's about? Can you talk with me? He was like, I'm not the one to really guide you on this because I'm dealing with some things, but he introduced me to my classmate whose name is Sharif. And from there, it took off. And me, Sharif, and Muhammad, we hung out every day. They came and cooked for me. We went to the mosque, and then they was like, "Oh, all right, this Jumu'ah, which is our Friday prayer. You're gonna take your Shahada." And I was like, "I'm gonna be."
They told you was gonna do it.
Yeah.
It wasn't like, "Hey, I'm ready to do this." They were just like, "Oh, you know all the basics. It's time to do it."
Once I learned El Fatiha, they was like, let's
You're a
go.
Muslim now.
Yeah, let's go.
You're a Muslim now.
Once I learned that, and so I had to go to the mosque. I was nervous. I had all these men behind me, but once I got up there, and it was smooth sailing after that. And then 2 months, I think either 2 months or a month after that, they come to me and tell me about Ramadan.
Like, wait, what?
So after they was telling me about Ramadan, like nothing during the daytime, no water, no food, no nothing. And I was like, how can I do this? Mm-hmm. And they were showing me people in the other regions of the earth that's in deserts and 120-degree heat that doesn't have water, and they can do it. So if they can do it, I can do it.
Right.
And they came over every Fajr, and they was they cooked me breakfast. That was the best. It's one of my best Ramadans. They cooked me breakfast. We go to the mosque. We do our prayer, and then when at the end, like in the evening, with Maghrib, we'll meet and break our fast together, and that was every day. That was every day.
Those good memories.
Yeah, that was every day.
MashaAllah.
That was every
So
day.
you had something that a lot of converts like kind of don't have, a community and a brotherhood. Because a lot of times, a lot of stories that I've heard is like I kind of found out about it on my own, but they didn't have that like ongoing friendship where people came over and cooked for them. They have their iftar alone, you know, they have their
Right.
suhoor alone.
Right.
So do you think that whole experience kind of made this the beginning phase of your cultivating your Islam better, easier?
Yeah, that was definitely very helpful because I was ignorant of everything, and they was, you know, they was my friend first from childhood, and then from that, you know, we had that bond. So it was easy for me to listen to them and for them to guide me through this because I really had, you know, known them, and nobody in my family is Muslim, so that was a challenge on its own because, you know, they thought it was just a phase, you know what I mean? Like I was just, you know, going through some things. But when I changed my name, they was like, okay.
For real, for real.
I went to my mom and my dad first, and I asked them, and they was like, you know, they're okay with it, and they accepted it, and they call me Bilal now, and that's, you know, that's a blessing. And I'm glad I had that support to begin with because during that time is right after 9/11, and we're not really getting any good news on the news about us. It's like, you know, terrorists, but you know that's not the case. If you get to meet Muslims and you get to see them, then that's not the case.
Especially living in the Bible Belt, like
Oh,
living in the South. I mean, very conservative, Republican state. It's not easy being a Muslim, but for a black man though, I think it might have been easier for you to kind of like pass. Like no one looks at you and know you're a Muslim. Like they really
Right.
have to get to know you
Right.
to know, you know, that you're in fact a Muslim, you know?
Right.
That's beautiful. So tell me, what was your like shahada moment though? Like what was that? Everybody has that shahada moment where you hear something of the Quran or maybe some evidence of, you know, how Islam is, you know, the truth and the way to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What was that moment for you where it kind of clicked?
When they showed me a video, you can watch it on YouTube. It's called The Messenger, and it talks about the Prophet, peace be upon him. And when it was talking like his story, Bilal comes up, and Bilal was started off as a slave who's my color, and I was like, you know, because I come from Christianity and I ain't never heard anything about my color in the Bible. So when I saw that and I saw what the gifts and how he was praised, and that really just that solidified my whole change right there. Once I saw that how everybody's respected, then you know that solidified it.
I don't know if you know this, but it was because we were chilling at your house. For me, my shahada moment happened when you was staying with what's his name?
Josh Jurgens.
Josh, yes, when you was staying with Josh. Y'all were watching the Khalid Yasin Purpose of Life video.
Oh yeah, he was major.
I love Khalid Yasin.
Yeah, he's
one because
major.
he a brother, and just his delivery and his message is just like
he's
on
major.
point.
He's major.
And he
he's
just
major.
It reminds you of Malcolm X, like the seriousness of it, a little bit of humor mixed in, but you know, wittiness. But at the end of the day, it's all seriousness. Like he really grabs your attention. But they brought up the way the child is made in the womb, the phases of ingestion, just like going from a blood clot and sperm mixed together and forming into a baby. And at that moment, I was like, wait, so they have all of this information in the Quran before there was any
years.
technology
Yeah,
or
years.
any proof or evidence of how, you know, the womb works. I don't even know men really even understood how the vagina worked that damn long ago. Because, so for that was the moment for me that I was like, okay, I was paying attention, but for the most part, I was kind of ear hustling. Because I didn't know what y'all was doing.
Right.
And I was just hanging out with Mo and like came out and we all became friends.
Right.
So that was the moment I was like, okay, I really need to focus now because this is something serious. And that was the moment where I kind of took it seriously. Like, this is the truth. Like, that's it. There's no question. There's no doubt. Like, this is the truth. Just because of that moment. And if you weren't watching that lecture, if you guys weren't sitting there discussing it, how else, I don't know, Allah makes ways for everybody, but how else would I have found my way onto this path? You know what I'm saying?
Right,
so I don't think you realize how important it is to always be studying and discussing topics of Islam, because you never know who's listening, who's really taking it seriously, who's going to remember what you said, what you did. Everything that we do and how we interact with people is literally dawah. The way you dress is dawah. The way you eat is dawah. You always have a smile on your face. MashaAllah, like, you have the best smile. Look at your smile. But I always know Bilal for his smile. When I first met him, he had locks, but it was his smile that stood out. So it's like, no matter, smiling is sunnah. Like, that's dawah within itself. Like, why this man always so happy? And, you know, you give praises to Allah and people look at you different, like, oh, well, you just, like, on a whole different type of way of life and lifestyle, and that's beautiful. So but okay, so moving forward, after taking shahada, and then shortly after, you went with me to ISNA to take. Were you in the room when I took shahada? Were you in the room? They kind of like took me into like a conference room where I had to say the shahada. Were you in there?
I think I was there. Either we was in the, because we can't be like right there, but I was in the facility. I'm assuming. Yeah, because I was there. So.
Yeah, we both went to the ICNA conference in Atlanta, and that's where I took my shahada, and I got a bunch of books and a hijab because I didn't have anything. But shortly after that, you got into a major car accident. Tell us about that.
I was coming from LSU and Auburn game, which we lost 9-0.
You would say that.
We lost 9-0. And the accident happened, and mashallah for this. The accident happened in Tuskegee, and I flew to Auburn because I was on the border. I was on the county line, so.
What?
I flew from one county to another.
God dang.
Mashallah.
Flew out of the car, right? Like, this was it a head-on collision? What happened?
Well, the driver, he was driving.
So you weren't driving?
I wasn't driving.
Okay.
And my mom was in the back seat, and we had a driver.
I didn't know your mom was in the car.
Yeah, she was in the car.
Oh my God. Okay, I'm sorry to keep interrupting.
Yeah,
These are new details.
Yeah, she was in the car. And the doctor said, because we hit somebody and then we got hit from behind. So the doctor said if I didn't have like my hair, because my hair was really thick, I flew through the window. I had my seatbelt on. He
had locks like this.
And which is amazing because
you flew out of the seatbelt.
Yeah, I flew out of the seatbelt, and you know the insurance company, before I came out of the hospital, the car ended up in a junkyard in Florida, crushed, and that's a story all on itself.
Because you didn't come out for a couple of weeks. How long were you hospitalized?
A week and a half, 2 weeks. Yeah, 2 weeks.
Alhamdulillah, that still wasn't bad for the extent of the severity of the accident. You were airlifted to the hospital, right?
Yeah.
He was airlifted from the scene, and I remember this. I remember going to go see him, and my baby was just laid up, y'all, bandaged up, broke up, and it was really scary. But I really believe that because you were a new Muslim, you had a different layer of protection. Like, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made it evident and clear. You had to go through something real quick, but what was it like being hospitalized? Like, was there thoughts, or like, were you doing thicker, or
Well,
what?
it was the first time that I didn't fear, like my mom and my family come up there. I could see like the fear of like death on their eyes. I was like, no, don't worry about that. You know, it's everybody's journey to do this. So I didn't fear like that part of, because I just took my shot. I was, you know.
Yeah, you were new.
Yeah. So it was, and I was, you know, I was okay with it.
SubhanAllah.
And I actually checked myself out of the hospital because I told the doctor, I was like, look, doc, I used to get really hype in parties, but the drugs y'all giving me, you know, that ain't it. Yeah, they gave me $7,000 worth of drugs in a week.
Oh my God.
And I was like, you know, I ain't trying to turn up like that.
They were trying to turn up. They were trying to keep you laying down. That's what they was trying to do.
And so I checked myself out, and then that's how I ended up in East Alabama and over closer to home.
Do you remember me and Muhammad coming to visit you?
Yeah, you, Muhammad Sharif, Turk came. Yeah, y'all came to Columbus, and y'all came to Opelika.
You could only have ice chips, so I remember feeding him ice chips while you was laying in the bed. I felt so bad.
Mashallah.
I can't remember if I had become a Muslim at that point or not. I can't remember, but it was heartbreaking.
Yeah, you was Muslim because we went to the conference by then.
Okay. But I was real new too, and so it was kind of like, dang, how did this happen? And the only thing I could think of was like the miracle and the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to help you survive that crazy crash. That was insane.
It was intense. And another thing I want to speak on, like I used to be a missionary. Like I used to go and
I did not know this.
Yeah, preach the Bible. I went to 15 states, but
how old were you? Because we was like fresh out of high school.
Yeah,
at this time.
Yeah, I was doing that in junior high and in some parts of high school. But they could never answer my questions. Like in the Quran, everything is answered. Everything is answered. And so I go to preachers and they just tell me just have faith. I go to Aman and he give me an ayah, so that's the difference. You know what I mean?
Mashallah. Same. I 100% agree. So did you tell me, I wonder if we have the same, I wonder if this is a mutual feeling between converts. Did you always feel like there was something more when you were doing your missionary work? Did you feel solid and secure in your mission and what you're doing and what you were preaching, or did you kind of always have this doubt in the back of your head while you were doing your missionary work?
Well, it was always doubt, because another thing, when you go to church, it's like you can't really focus because, you know, I mean, I'm not throwing salt on anybody's religion.
Right.
But when I went to my churches, it was more of a fashion show and who can look the best, and you know, I'm a man, so when a woman walks by in this, you know, skin tight dress, you know what I mean, how am I thinking about God? You know, I mean,
that's an honest truth though. That's an honest truth. What denomination were you? Baptist?
I was Baptist, and then I became Methodist. Methodist is when I was really doing
the missionary
work.
Now you can still continue to do the missionary stuff. There's so many like Islamic relief organizations and stuff like that. You
Really?
ever thought about? Yeah.
I didn't know that.
They travel to all over the world.
I didn't know that.
Yes.
I didn't know that. I need that information.
I'll definitely plug you. I know a sister in Atlanta, and she's just made this whole life mission to volunteer and do different Islamic reliefs and stuff. But so if that's your thing,
yeah, that's
you should definitely pick it back up with
I didn't know.
You know?
Yeah, I didn't know. Wow,
yeah.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
Absolutely, and stuff like this. Like I could see you being on the street, giving dawah to people on the street, kind of like setting up, like having water or whatever, and just talking to people and answering people's questions.
Inshallah.
You're so welcoming and warming.
Inshallah.
The last thing I want to talk about is our mutual friendship with our dear friend, our dear brother Sharif, that has passed away now. Like, I remember him often every time I pray, I try to make dua for him. And it's crazy because I used to do it every day, but I'm saying this because it's a testament that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us to focus on him. Like, we expect our friends and stuff to pray for us, but we have to do it for ourselves, because now as time is going on, sometimes I forget. We kind of went into our normal lives or whatever. But what's the most significant memory of Sharif for you? And what are you trying to do to keep him elevated in the grave while he's awaiting Day of Judgment?
Well, the most significant thing is every prayer that I make, he gets benefits from.
MashaAllah.
Because he helped me get, my shahada and stuff like that. But I guess the first time I really took heed to it, because we was in high school and we was eating in lunchroom together. And then he'll give me his lunch for a month. And I'm like, what? This is Ramadan. And I ain't know that he didn't really tell me on nothing like that, because he really didn't really speak on that in high school.
Yeah.
Because that was like 9/11 time.
Yeah.
And so, nobody really was like, hey, I'm a Muslim.
Outward, right. Nobody was parading around. Yeah.
So he was giving me, and I didn't know why. And then later on, he told me, like, that's why. But the most, I guess, when he would come to my house and cook for me before Fajr.
MashaAllah.
That right there, it just, and then he taught me, like, how to pray. So that was huge too.
I came to your house for Fajr one time, but this was after your car accident. Do you remember?
You came, we prayed together several times. I wish Josh, because it was there. I wish Josh would have,
I think it was a lot of cultural influences that prevented him from really riding with the Muslims, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because I was deep up in, I had Kane, I had you, I had Muhammad, I had Sharif, I had Muhammad Salawah, he come through. Inshallah, one day for Josh.
Inshallah.
But I love.
What about your family? What about your family? Your mom. Now, your mom's always has been very open and receiving to your journey and path, and
inshallah,
she's showing some interest.
Inshallah on her, because every day I make Fajr. She don't do like, she don't know the El Fatiha and wear the hijab, but she does have a prayer rug, and she does pray on her prayer rug. So I guess that's baby steps.
Yeah.
And and hopefully, inshallah, one day she'll do that. Inshallah.
Well, thank you so much for just chopping it up with me. I never knew about you before becoming a Muslim. I just always knew that when I met you, Sharif and John and everybody else was already around. I didn't know the Bilal before your journey and path into Islam. So thank you for answering those questions and just making this real. I want to keep doing this with other people that decided, because every story is beautiful.
Right. Every story. And when I think about it, like when I was younger.
Oh, we good.
When I was younger, I always said, when I make my prayer, I pray to the God of Adam. I pray to the God of, which prophet I was saying, Moses, and eventually, it became, Islam.
Really? You always pray like that?
I always pray like that. I pray to the God of,
Interesting.
MashaAllah.
I guess I still, I was saying Jesus, but I knew that it was more. I just knew that I just had a feeling inside that it was more than just Isa alayhi salam. And when I found out that Isa was just the middleman, I was like, that makes so much sense. That's just why the answer I could never get a clear answer, because I was like you. I was asking the preacher. I was asking the deacons and everybody in the church. I went to Sunday school. I grew up in the church. My granddaddy was a preacher. I don't know if you know that about me, but he had his own country church out in Waverly. country church, hot ass church. But he used to drag us out there every first and third Sunday. We used to burn up in that damn box. But I would always ask, Trinity really doesn't make sense to me. How can Jesus be the Father and the Son? It just don't even make sense, and I would always get followed by faith and not by sight answer. And it just never really sat right with me, but I still attribute my upbringing in Christianity to the reason why I am a good Muslim, to the reason why I do understand Islam in the way that I do, because I live the path of a Christian. And a lot of those principles and things are still there, and that's what I was raised on. So it really wasn't that hard of a transition for me to become a Muslim. It was just like, I know who I'm giving praise to now versus before. I felt like I didn't know who I was really praying to. I felt like it really wasn't being answered. Like there really wasn't any clear. And just the way of life too. Christianity didn't really give me a lot of like, no, don't kill, steal,
right.
stuff like that. But way of life, how to cleanse yourself properly. I remember you raving about Estanja. You was like, man, this is lit. This is it right here. I can't believe I haven't been cleaning my ass all these years.
Yeah.
That was a major, big deal. And I didn't know what you was talking about at the time. This was before I became Muslim. But that's what I'm saying. Like just the lifestyle changes on little stuff like that. How you go to the bathroom, how you eat with your hands, how you make sure that your neighbor is.
I can't believe it.
Got him weak on that one. You was really in awe about that. I was like, what is he talking about?
But it's good to feel clean though.
No, I mean you can't go back.
Yeah.
You can't go back. And everybody else you look at, you're judging them because you're like, I know your ass ain't clean.
Oh man.
But that's but Islam guided us, alhamdulillah. Allah guides us through everything: how to eat, how to sleep, how to treat your neighbor, how to treat your wife, how to treat your brothers, how to congregate amongst each other, how to give sisters respect. It spells it out for us versus before it was just like we want to take on the character of Jesus and present ourselves in a certain way, but we really still didn't really know what that was. Right. And like you said, I never saw representation of myself and my community in Christianity. It was always not, I know it's not about the white man, but I didn't see any other examples about black people in the faith. And I felt excluded.
Yeah, that was it.
But everybody around me had accepted it. Mm-hmm. And it just never sat right with me. But so alhamdulillah. Well, anybody have any questions? Thanks for checking in. Temptation is real. Do you have any questions for my brother Bilal? That we focus a lot on this convert story, but any challenges that you might be facing and that you had to overcome? How about that? How about prayers? I struggled with prayers for a long time, just the habit.
Well, like I said, luckily, they came over. They came over for my...
I think that's major.
And then you do something for 15 days and, it becomes a habit.
That's major. So, I think we need more of that in the community, on an outreach group or something, where if there's a new shahada in the community, we go over to check on them. We're having meals with them. We're fasting with them in their beginning days while they're still cultivating, because that's so important. If I didn't have Muhammad by my side, if I didn't marry into this family, I had the chance to live inside of a home with a Muslim family. I would have never, ever guessed that that's the way my life would have been. But Allah put me there so I could see what the day-to-day life is like.
And Muhammad's a good man.
Alhamdulillah.
Mashallah.
I got lucky. I got lucky. What did you think when he started bringing me around?
Mashallah. Because he changed. He's a better man. It works on both. Works on both ends. So mashallah.
Yeah, mashallah. But being that I think that did make a difference with how effective or how cultivated I became Islam, because if I didn't have my mother-in-law there to sit me down and help break down ayahs from the Quran, you know, make me read, so she used to make me read certain things. Yes, oh my God, you already know how my mama is. She's so extra. But I used to have to watch stuff in Urdu, man. Like, I don't even understand this, but I used to sit down and watch QTV. If you're married to a Desi family, you know, they watch QTV all day, and I didn't understand anything they were saying, but she would sit there and translate it for me. But it was good because I wouldn't have got the information otherwise. You know, when it came to Ramadan, she would wake us up for suhoor and, you know, show us what we eat for suhoor and things like that. Like, if I was on my own and I just had to do it by myself, I don't know if I would have been as strong as I am today, because those early days are critical.
Yes.
Critical.
Yes.
Like, you're high off of learning a new faith and becoming a new Muslim, but it's different to actually put it into practice. How did you learn Quran as an adult?
Time, YouTube, and more YouTube. And then once you have like, once you build like, I don't want to call them friends, but once you get like brothers, then they will help, because they've been doing it their whole lives. So they give you the little shortcuts and knickknacks and, you know, sunnahs that you need to read about, and, you know, make it interesting, not like a classroom. And that's main. Like, don't make it like it's gonna be a test. Like, I need to make an A or a B. You know, make it, you know, interesting and, you know, and loving.
We in the country, y'all. The bugs flying on him. For me, learning Quran as an adult, classes helped, because we shortly afterwards moved to Atlanta, and they had way more resources than they do here. Like, they had Sunday school classes that I would go to, and it was consistent with material, and we did have quizzes and tests. But for the most part, I kind of just picked it up on my own, just in, you know, teaching my son. So my son and I were in the same category as far as learning the basics, going from Aleph Ba to joining letters. We were in the same classroom. Matter of fact, I started teaching a Sunday school in Columbus next year. Did you know that?
No, I didn't.
Because we didn't really like the Sunday school here. It was kind of inconsistent. So there's a Indo-Pakistani community in Columbus, and we would drive up there on Sundays, and I was the Sunday school teacher for the elementary kids. So while I was teaching them, I was learning. I would make up games and different stuff like that. So, oh yeah, it was fun. We did that for a couple of years. Are you okay? Oh. So yeah, learning as an adult is a little bit difficult, but they have classes online. But I just kind of picked up the Quran and started practicing. I'm still not fluent though.
No.
Even now, if I pick it up, I'm stumbling. I'm still stumbling through it. It's still a little bit difficult. I can read transliteration. I can listen and repeat it. But like going through it with my finger and reading it like you would hear it being recited, I haven't gotten to that level yet. But
inshallah. And I'm finna start like my trucking career, so that's what I'm gonna be listening to, and that's what I want to just, you know, just indulge and hopefully, inshallah, 6 months. That's what, you know, they promise. In 6 months, it'll be fluent.
What's your favorite surah?
I guess.
Like, what's the
one? That's my favorite.
Ahad, mashallah. Surah Rahman is my favorite. Surah Rahman. I don't know about heart, but whenever I hear that one, it jerks the tears. Any other questions? Because we're gonna wrap it up here in just a second. Thank you for joining, everyone. I'm gonna go back down the comment section because I want to see if I missed anything or anyone's question.
Mashallah for this.
I'm so excited about this. Now I have to really line it up. If you're interested in sharing your story, please DM me, and let's set up a time. I'm going to try to do this every weekend, or at least once a week, inshallah, on Saturdays. We'll call it Sunnah and Soul Saturdays. Sometimes we'll have convert stories and whatever other topics that you guys may want to discuss. Give me some time to research and make sure that I come on here correct. But Thank you, Bilal, for doing the honors and being my first guest. It only feels right that you be the first one.
Right, mashallah.
And may you get the reward for my journey as well,
Mashallah.
because if it wasn't for you, I don't know. Because Muhammad would never bring it up to me. He didn't want to talk about religion with me because he didn't want to make it
Scare
seem
you
like,
off or something
not
like
scare
that.
me off, but he didn't want to be the reason why. A lot of times when you
yeah,
meet a
yeah,
brother,
yeah.
then you're like, I got to do this so I can be with him. He
Yeah.
didn't want that to influence my decision. So even when I told him I was ready to take Shahada, he was like, are you sure? Like, you're not doing this for me, are you? But I knew deep in my heart, like,
I'm glad you got
even
it.
if we didn't work out, you know, that I was still going to be a Muslim. Like, I knew that this was the truth for me, even if he wasn't in the picture. So I knew that I was making the right decision. But no, he didn't want to really talk to me about it.
I'm glad you got it.
But he felt comfortable talking to y'all about it.
I mean, because, like, again, childhood.
Y'all was homeboys.
Yeah, childhood. So.
That's what's up, man. Thank you.
Mashallah.
All right. Assalamu alaikum, guys. Thank you for watching. We'll see you guys soon. DM me if you're interested in featuring your story, if you're a convert, or even if you're interested. Let me know in the DMs. Next time, I'll probably bring some people on live if you guys are interested in live discussion one-on-one. Peace. Okay, let's take it behind the scenes. This was a total, not last minute. I've been wanting to do this for a while, but we really put this together the last minute. We went out and bought a mic and we streamed live via TikTok. So if you're not following me on TikTok at HypeMeUpKendra, this is where the beginning episodes will definitely take place since I have a large following on TikTok. But as you can see, we purchased a new mic. My son and I went to Best Buy just before we met here at Town Creek Park in Auburn, Alabama, to start recording. Luckily for me, Bilal is a professional photographer now, so he came with some heavy, beautiful equipment, and I'm so grateful because I don't know what I would have done without this footage. All of this footage that we have here today was taken from my TikTok live replay. So we had some time to walk around the park and find an area that was shaded, that looked nice. This is a beautiful place in general. And I grabbed a sari out of my mother-in-law's closet at the last minute because I also wanted a piece of her and a piece of that culture to reflect in my very first episode of Sunnah and Soul. So this was very much a learning experience, all in all, for all of us. But I kind of wanted to prove to myself that we could pull it off. So here are a few behind the scenes clips from us taking a dive in, getting everything set up and ready. And again, everything was recorded live via TikTok during this time. So hope you guys enjoy some of the conversations that we had behind the scenes. And make sure that you go over and follow Sunnah and Soul. This will become the Muslim-owned marketplace page. But as far as conversations and podcasts, you can follow me at HypeMeUpKendra because I will be the host and brand manager for all of these efforts. It was in that gas station off Gay Street at the end, the corner right there. Black-owned water.
I wish we had him a chair. That way he can sit down
Yeah.
and
hold it.
Yeah.
I need somewhere to
He'd
prop.
be super comfortable then. I don't know, I wouldn't think.
No, this is very like last minute, so I'm not. Hey, fat guy 504. Thanks for checking in. Baby girl living tea. I went live. We're setting up now. Trying to figure it out. Yes, we're live. So loves to Bilal. People are trickling in. We'll get the conversation started here in just a second. This is my good friend. My first brother. Found it. This is the assistant walking up. Amir. Up. Deandra, I see you popping in. Was good, sis. Thank you, sir. So we got to figure out this microphone situation. So things might get shaky here for just a second, everybody. For just a second. Amir, can you hold this for a second? And then I gotta figure out how I'm gonna prop this, because your brother and sister have definitely got a hold to my phone stand. I should have brought it, but I couldn't find it. Okay, let's turn this on. Saturday. Testing, testing. Can you hear me okay? Because I'm using the microphone. Is it all the way up? Okay, this was so funny. So I needed a way to prop up my phone because, of course, I didn't have my stand, my tripod. So my son suggested a stick, and guess what? It worked. It was so funny because he pulled out, he's like, how about we use this stick? And we propped it up on the back of the backpack. And I was shook when it actually was stable. But we ended up not using this. We ended up using Bilal's bag to do this instead. But it was hilarious. Let him drop that camera, Lord. No, I can't afford it. I already know I can. So the set came with 2 cameras?
Yeah, like this is why you live, for quality headshots. This is where I get my headshots. The other one is for like family and get the scene in the background. And it's not really made for video. This one's made for video.
Okay.
The other one's made for
still photography.
Yeah.
Okay.
But both of them take pictures.
I was about to say, why not get a camera that does both?
Yeah, this one.
And this is where the sound went out, and it was seriously probably about 5 to 7 minutes of no sound. I had no idea that it wasn't working. Did you just see me say yay, thank you? Something happened right after I had the sound went out, and I had no idea until my sister called me and told me, like, hey, we can't hear anything. So thanks, sis, for calling me. She happened to pop up on TikTok and join the live and let me know what was going on. Oh, that fan, the peacock fan, I found that in the abyss of my mother-in-law's closet. There's so many cool things in there, so I picked it up and grabbed it and brought it with me because I knew it was going to be hot. Anyways, I'm going to fast forward through this because you won't be able to hear anything.
How much you think? You can just get this part of it.
My mama.
The phone? She wants to get the phone in there?
You want to keep the phone in there? Alright, so this should be good for it.
And then start it. You can like that.
This would be great.
Press the start button and then you should see a red dot.
Alright, whenever my mom's ready, I'm ready.
You know how to press record and all that? Have a seat, friends. Okay, come on closer. We got to get close so we can get into the screen.